Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Casual Conversations. Because I interrupted Pete last time, right?
Yeah, clearly.
I did. Okay. All right. I just wanted to make sure. I was a little... last episode, I don't really recall. Like, Pete doesn't recall last week.
There we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, my Casual Conversation is about the Thor 3 director, Ragnarok director, in talks to do the Akira live-action movie. What are your thoughts about that? You don't know anything about it, Joe.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Really? Have you guys never seen Akira? I mean, you're a Dragon Ball fan, right?
I know about it. I just
really, you've never seen Akira?
No.
Holy fuck nuts!
So
have you ever seen Chronicle, the movie Chronicle?
About 3 seconds of it.
Have you seen Chronicle?
No.
What the fuck is wrong with you people?
Too much.
How do you guys decide to be on a show
Well, you know.
about talking about mainstream stuff, and you guys have never seen these things?
I think for Friday you should talk about sports.
You should definitely talk about sports.
Definitely should talk
So
about sports.
here's the thing, right? Akira, I don't know if clearly you guys don't fucking know about it, but you guys play video games, and that's why you're here on Improv Gaming. So clearly you guys know about Akira. Jackasses. No, so Akira is probably one of the most artistically and storyline driven like animes that kind of have ever come around in the past like fucking 40 years.
I know what you're talking about.
No, you don't.
No, I don't.
You have no fucking idea what I'm talking
He's
about.
one to chime in.
He's like, oh, I know exactly.
He's waiting for you to
name a character.
He's waiting for you to bring it up on there so you can see and be like, oh yeah, I've seen that once.
No, you haven't. You haven't, right? So supposedly he's supposed to be doing this. Now, really, I didn't want to talk about Akira, right? What I really wanted to talk about is if it could work, right? We've had Ghost in the Shell, we've had all these animes that were transitioned into live action movies, and they haven't done very well in the box offices. Now, do you guys know anything about that at all?
If you're going with the Street Fighter movie, then yes.
What about you, Pete? Do you know anything about box office releases and how well movies perform in the box office?
Avatar, The Last Airbender.
Okay. All right. So we're getting somewhere. All right. I mean, American-made anime, but sure, we're getting there. We're getting there. All right. We're getting close. Woo. All right. So,
steps.
as you know, Avatar: The Last Airbender, very popular cartoon
On
on
Nickelodeon.
Nickelodeon. Very popular, right? Everybody loved it. And then M. Night Shyamalan wanted to make a twist.
M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah, he wanted to twist it up a little bit and make a shitty movie out of it, right? Because that's his thing, is twist endings, right? So, but it was an absolutely terrible reception. People didn't really appreciate what he did with the story. They didn't appreciate the whitewashing, kind of turning all the evil people into like these Muslim people, even though M. Night Shyamalan himself is an Indian man. So like why it fucking matters is beyond my understanding. But there was a whole lot of controversy around the movie and around both pre-release, release, and post-release. There was just a whole bunch of like...
The argument can be made the best part of that movie was the guard in the one scene in the snow level. You may know him from Scholars of Wrestling. His name is Tarek.
The snow level?
No,
Was it a video game?
Yes.
He upgraded.
I said
He said snow level.
He said
Did I-
snow level.
it's my gaming. I'm sorry.
Level 3 of the snow
You know,
one.
the third act. Yeah, Tarek was in actually Avatar: Last Airbender. Yes, he was.
That's why I brought it up.
I know. I'm just reiterating it because people don't really understand whenever you talk.
Thank you, Nick.
No problem, Pete. No problem. So my concern is this, like, more than Ghost in the Shell is, more than any of these other animes are that have come out, Akira is like this sacred holy land that like a lot of anime fans just, it's good. Leave it the fuck alone. It's good. It's fine. Don't touch it. If you're gonna do the same thing you did with Ghost in the Shell, you're gonna do the same thing we did with all these other animes. Just don't. No, please don't. And my fear is if they do this, they're not gonna do it the kind of merit that it deserves. They're not gonna give it the kind of merit that it deserves. Where you're gonna get all these different aspects that just don't really tie into the whole message of the anime. The original anime, mind you, it wasn't an anime. All right, anime is like a show. This was an animated movie. This was an anime movie back when that was like the only way you can get animes. So that's one of my fears. And considering that again, that Ghost in the Shell, Death Note, Last Airbender came out to negative reception across the board. It's just I'm afraid, and I don't want it to be touched. So I need somebody to hold me.
I have a counter proposal.
Okay, counter proposal. Yes.
Not really, but anyway. Think of it this way. Star Wars had movies. You had New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
Then they decided to, we got to cash in on the Star Wars, and we got Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Return of the Sith. Not very well-regarded movies.
Okay.
But then they took a step back and said, no, we got to make it where the franchise is great. And then you get great movies like Episode 7 and then Rogue One and soon to be Episode 8, The Last Jedi.
So when you say they, who are you referring to? You know there's not an entity called Star Wars that makes these movies, right?
No, I'm just saying,
Like there was a man that got money hungry after 30 years and needed to like refurbish his house and decided that he was going to go back to a franchise he made by accident and be yes to death by a whole bunch of nerds that he hired. And that's why the first trilogy or the prequel trilogy just bombed, was because, hey, let me make a racist Jamaican dude. Yeah, that sounds good. Hey, let me make
Jar Jar Binks.
I'm gonna do everything in CGI instead of practical effects like I did last time. Yeah, that sounds good. Like there was a lot of things that went on, and then when after a while he's like, I can't revitalize this franchise at all. I can't come up with a story. He sold it to Disney, and Disney was like, we're the story kings. Watch. And then they just they destroyed it. They just fucking like knocked it out of the park with Episode 7 and with Rogue One, where they're like, I can tell 30,000 stories, especially since there's like this whole catalog of stories that you canonized over 40, 50 years.
Well,
So
is this being in association with Disney? Because
Akira?
yeah, because of Marvel and the director.
No, yeah,
I
no.
don't know if they have
I
any
don't think so.
affiliation together. Because then I would. That's why I also brought up Star Wars, because I figured Disney really takes care of their shit.
Yeah, but Marvel was doing it before Disney came around.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, with any Marvel is still knocking out, because we've had this conversation in the past. It's surprising Marvel hasn't fallen off. They've been hitting movie after movie. It's like, how are you going to make Ant-Man good? How are you going to make us care about Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yeah, how you gonna make Doctor Strange look good? Yeah.
And then all of them are like, Doctor Strange was one of my favorite movies of last year, and I was very highly against it, from talking to you.
Well, they do put some flops out there, but the
flops are nowhere near
they go
Yeah.
under the radar because then they just hit it with something else.
Yeah.
But the flops are nowhere near like the worst of any flop in all of
you're
Hollywood.
absolutely right, but
a Marvel flop is like here.
It's like
and a
still
flop
pretty
is like
good,
here.
and then, yeah.
Like this is a Marvel success. This is a Marvel flop, and then this is every other flop. And this is every other good movie, and this is every other flop.
I think the worst movie they ever did was Hulk, or one of the Hulks.
It wasn't even that good.
Yeah. So
I mean, it wasn't even that bad. Which one are you talking? Well, I know
there's a couple of them.
the
so
Hulk.
that's what I mean.
That one was absolutely
Yeah, there was
terrible.
the
The
Hulk,
Ang
there
Lee
was
Hulk. That was terrible.
Incredible Hulk.
Yeah,
there was-
the Incredible Hulk. The one with Ed Norton wasn't too bad.
yeah, it wasn't that bad.
I didn't mind that one at all. I thought that one was actually pretty good. Especially Ed Norton as Bruce Banner. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah,
When they changed to Mark Ruffalo, I was like, oh, I really wanted to see the Ed Norton Hulk.
I do like Edward Norton, but Ruffalo's not too
Yeah,
bad.
Ruffalo's
either,
still doing a good job with it.
I'm excited for Thor Ragnarok. That's all I know. So I think it would
though.
also
You put that
be...
out there, so you kind of just like
No.
tried to segue into it. But
No, because the director is also...
Yeah, it's the director from Thor Ragnarok.
I'm interested to see the movie, because if the movie looks as good as the previews are saying, I don't think I would not be worried about that.
It segues directly into Infinity War.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense. There's no other Marvel movie before Infinity War.
Black Panther, I believe.
No, that's after. Maybe, no. Yeah, you might be right. It might be before.
I'm pretty sure I'm right.
You were wrong about a lot of things lately. Nick.
I've been wrong about one thing lately.
I don't know if you know that.
Just one thing.
He
There's only
finally
one
had
thing.
something to go into, and he passed on it.
South Park, I was right. But no, if the director does good
I
with
guess I'll hold out
Thor,
and just say like not until the release date, until you actually physically get the package.
I'm going to send you a picture. But no, if this director kills it for Thor, I think you should not be worried, and fans of the anime should not be worried, because it's.
Here's the issue.
What's your issue?
The issue is every director that has worked on an anime
Has failed.
that has been these people that have knocked it out of the park before, and they just don't get the sensibilities of these animes, and they try to do it, and it's like for instance, Death Note was very much a game of strategy between two characters, and they made the movie a high school boy in angst with a psychopathic girlfriend. Not the same fucking anime. It's not the same at all, right? Ghost in the Shell was this story about this woman finding out who she was, and they just made it, hey, look, a lot of CGI and lights and half-naked Black Widow. Let's get her in skin-tight clothing and make believe she's naked, and all the preteen boys can masturbate to it. And it just didn't work out. And Airbender. Let's take 3 seasons of Airbender and jam it into an hour and a half. Just, there's way too much story there.
I think you might know, or Joe might know. Scott Pilgrim, was that?
It's a video game.
It started as a video game,
Yeah.
or was it? I thought it was a comic.
It might have been.
It might have been a comic as well,
but it was like
definitely
an
a video
Archie
game.
comic, right? Like Marvel obviously has a good way of getting comics to the screen, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they've had to change their stories to do it, right? The problem with anime is when you change the story too much, suddenly it gets lost, right? There's a lot of things that get lost, and when you change certain characteristics of the characters, everything about that character dies because this is the main point, right? For instance, Death Note. Light was supposed to be the smartest in all the country, in all the world, one of the smartest human beings in all the world. Top percentage in all scores, everything, right? Great person, like a phenomenal human being. Nobody would have ever suspected him of being the murderer Kira. That's how the anime worked out. In the
Spoilers.
the first 5 seconds of the movie, he's writing out other people's homework and getting paid for it. So, not the same Light immediately. And you're trying to, like, the sensibility of Light, the reason why he does what he does relies on the idea that nobody would ever fucking suspect him of doing it. That's why he does it. And, like, you just threw that out of the window. So now it becomes, okay, how the fuck are they going to make this work? And they didn't. They didn't make it work at all.
Was that what you're looking for? Like, I guess my example would be Walking Dead, or even a Game of Thrones, where they have something out and now you're making a show or pretend like they made a movie of it. So if it changes, say there's a character and now it's
you still need to keep
expecting
that.
this. You
still
want
need
them
to
to
keep
stick
that,
to that.
that core character, right? Like Walking Dead works because the idea of Walking Dead still exists, right? Anybody is replaceable. Anybody can die. It's not about skill. It's about luck. And this is the world we live in now. Game of Thrones, same idea, right? There's no good. There's no bad. There's only the shades of gray in between. And anybody could be bad. Ned Stark, who's revered in this show as a hero, actually has a dark past.
Yep.
Right? So anything.
Is that what is that? That's what you want. Like, so
you
if
have
I,
to
if
keep
I,
the core of what it is alive. The purpose of that anime has to maintain its integrity. If it doesn't, then just like any other story, all of a sudden it's like, all right, we're done. We're done here.
You have to hit the high points in the anime, I feel. Because, like, with Game of Thrones and Walking Dead, they have differed from the book and the comic. Walking Dead has differed from the
Well, that's
comic
kind of why
as
I went
well
there
as...
because they differed with some of the characters. And
Yeah,
it's like,
but-
okay, well, but I'm still interested.
Yeah.
If
And
they-
there's a way to do it the right way, right? Walking Dead and Game of Thrones. But again, right? American sensibilities translated to American television and American theater, right? This is Japanese
He's going-
sensibilities
yeah,
going into
going to
American
American.
And we all
theater.
know those video games go great with those translations.
Yeah. Yeah. The video games always fucking work so well with the translations. Capcom.
All your bases belong to us.
So it's an interesting topic, and I just kind of want to see what everybody's heads are at. But if you
I'm
like what you
excited now
are you?
for this movie.
No, you're not. If you like what you saw, hit that like button. If you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. And as always, have conversations with people casually.
And talk on.
And